Welcome. Today's talk is called Pure Shapeless Awareness. I'm going to look at one of the many questions I'm asked. I'm not going to say that I will answer any questions. It seems like there is someone asking a question and that I can answer it. But that is not how it is at all. The question comes from the thought. A thought comes alive in a mind. But what is a mind? Where is it? Is it in the brain? Is it what some people call consciousness? Even if we say there is a material brain and some kind of chemical process that indicates a thought coming to awareness, what does that really tell us? Even if scientists could map every neuron of every brain and see the organ of a thought in the brain, that would still not explain why it ever happened in the first place. Why is there thought? Why is there any particular thought? Why is there the sense of a separate person who has thoughts and can ask questions? Someone told me I speak in riddles. I used to tell many stories, old folk tales, and people said I spoke in parables. Speaking just happens, just like thought, just like anything at all that happens. Why does the monsoon come? Why is the sky blue? Why do you ask so many questions? If you see the snow leopard high in the snowy peak, what would you ask of her as she walks along the highest mountains on this earth? If you see the falcon fly over Chilka Lake, will you call to the sky and say, "Stop in your flight, I have a question"? The mystery is not the question you ask. The mystery is, where does the question come from? Who is asking? Who can know? Who is here to answer? Someone once asked Raman, how should we treat other people? They thought he would have a teaching like Gandhi on how to treat people in the world. His answer was simple. He said, there are no others. There are no others. There is not even you or me. There is never any question, for there is no asker of questions. There is never any answer, for there is no one to answer. Now that this is covered, I will be happy to answer all of your questions. It is not a contradiction. My little cousin, she plays with make-me-believe animals she talks to all the time. When I sit with her, sometimes she says, let us talk with the Bengal tiger or the elephant. I pretend, and we all talk together in Hindi, no less. And it is the same here. I pretend to be a person who can talk with another person, but there are no others. There is not even the one pretending. Are you still listening? Perhaps now you know why it is a mystery to me that people wish to attend my talks. My favorite visitors are the ones who tell me what I do wrong even as they want me to be their guru. A young man from England told me there should be no clocks or calendars here since there was no time. He never wore a watch and he showed up late for a few talks. It is true that there is no time. But if we say dinner is served at 7 and you show up at 9, you will be hungry. Again, there is no contradiction, even though I know some of you think you hear one. The question from Jones is the one we will get to in this talk. He wants to know what it means when Nisargadatta says, I am not an object in consciousness, but its source, its witness, pure shapeless awareness. What can such words mean? All the time. So many men have to draw out a map of existence, and then they talk out a bigger map to map out what is beyond existence. Then they take out one more map, this one no one can see, and map out non-existence. They create many names and ideas and concepts about the absolute, or about awareness, or about consciousness. Many ways to divide God, and even God is one more map they draw. How can you ever hope to think your way to understanding? How can you pretend that a word means something that you say is beyond the ability of the mind to conceive? These teachers don't hold or believe the concepts they speak of. This is where the misunderstanding comes in. When the teachers describe who they are as awareness or consciousness or source or whatever are the words they use, they do not mean themselves. They are not ever talking about a person who has some kind of understanding or knowledge or perception. They are not talking about a person that realizes that they are not simply a human being, but are one with all that exists, or even prior to that. They are not talking about a person who knows that they are some absolute awareness or consciousness. They are trying to describe what can never be described in thought, but it is the formless that seems to contain the form. And yet to put it like that creates two ideas, the form and the formless. All ideas are like taking a knife and trying to cut a slice of water in the lake. Thoughts are like taking your knife and trying to cut away a piece of the ocean. You are not a wave. You are not the ocean. You are not I am. You are not prior to anything. For that would mean a world of things, and a before and after. You are not consciousness. For that is only a thought that seems to drop into a mind or brain from nowhere at all. And you are not even awareness, for that is only a concept. Even the idea of you is only another concept. If we walked up to a mountain that had mudslides when the rain comes, and I said, oh, that mountain is a funny fellow. When it is rains a lot, he gets very angry and throws part of himself down the hill. He sometimes covers the road or even drones people. When it is dry, he seems happy, but then he likes to play with us by blowing dust, throwing it up into the wind to blow into our eyes. What a scoundrel! You would say I am attributing human traits to a mountain that has none. Yes. But now I will leave you with some thoughts that might flow into your mind, like ants finding sweets under your door. To say that you or anyone you know has any traits or characteristics or personality is the same as projecting it upon the mountain. Life can be said to happen. It appears that way, but there is no cause or any way to know anything. There is no person inside the mountain who makes the mountain do what it does. On that, you will agree. Now, I am telling you that there is a no person inside the body who makes anyone do what they do. Some of you will say, yes, I see this how it is. It is awareness or consciousness that makes me what I do. That is what I am. But is the mountain awareness of or consciousness? Where do you see any such thing except as a thought? The mountain itself is an idea, for there is no mountain separate from all else. You are an idea, for there is no person separate from all else. But from where comes all that appears, and why? And what is it that seems to perceive, that seems to have sense of sight and sound and smell and movements? It is just this, only this. What is and it is nothing that can be said or known or understood at all. No one is source, no one is awareness, no one is consciousness. These are just thoughts about what is unthinkable. There is no self and there are no others. Raman said, there is neither creation nor destruction, neither destiny nor free will, neither path nor achievement. And I would add, there is neither a question or an answer, only love.